at 9:46 a.m. Eastern Time. My name is Brian, and this is the Center Aisle. Gonna come in today, guys, and give you guys a quick update. This is what's really happening. A couple hours ago, OSINT Defender reported that the Ministry of Defense of the United Arab Emirates, UAE, has announced their air defenses have been monitoring 3 Iranian UAVs and 2 ballistic missiles in the last several hours. The attack has resulted in injuries to at least 3 people. Once again, Iran violating the ceasefire, as Iran has been doing for quite some time. OSINT Defender also reporting that the U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, has announced that at least 73 tankers have been denied the opportunity to transport Iranian oil, reducing Iranian revenue by $13 billion. To date, at least 50 vessels have been redirected on their way to and from Iranian ports of call, with 2 vessels that refused to stop and were denied and were disabled by U.S. forces. That's the Tusk, I believe the name was. They put rounds through the engine room, and then one yesterday, I think it was, they put surgical shots right through the rudder of it, and I think that is seriously, seriously impressive. U.S. military, once again, does not disappoint. The rudder underwater, and they disabled that ship. President Trump reported that the ship was doing circles after they hit the rudder. It couldn't go anywhere, so they just stopped and anchored until we come and took. I guess I don't know if we took that one or not, but it couldn't go anywhere. There's a video of Trump that says, again, this is from OSINT Defender. When asked if today's high-intensity engagement of the Strait of Hormuz constitutes as an end of the normal U.S.-Iran ceasefire, U.S. President Donald J. Trump said that doesn't, and they should sign a lasting ceasefire agreement fast. He continues to say fast, and again, my opinion only, I believe he's meaning fast because he has midterms coming up. And if the Democrats get so many seats, there could be an impeachment coming. So I don't know if that's the reason. He said that doesn't skew his judgment one way or the other about how he's handling this, but he sure changed direction real fast to go from complete and total surrender down to moratoriums, as the JCPOA had in it. Maybe a little bit different, but I made a video on that too. You might want to go check it out. I'll link it at the end of this one. So let's listen to see what President Trump had to say here.
After these strikes, is the ceasefire with Iran still on?
Yeah, it is. They trifled with us today.
Trifled.
We blew them away. They trifled. I call that a trifle. I'll let you know when there's no ceasefire. You won't have to know. If there's no ceasefire, you're not going to have to know. You're just going to have to look at one big glow coming out of Iran. And they better sign their agreement fast.
He said he's calling it a trifle, and they better sign fast. And he said he won't have to let anybody know that the ceasefire is done. That we'll know. There'll be a huge glow coming from Iran. Once again, I don't know why he thinks it's different now that it has been in the past, where the Iranians are known to drag things out as long as they possibly can. It just plays into their hand. And they've been doing a stellar job of it again, if that's in fact what's going on. I mean, obviously, you and I, we don't have access to all the intel that he does. So there may be something they're seeing that's different. Maybe the talks on the phone are completely different, but it doesn't change the Iran's IRGC. I mean, they just don't care. They don't care what happens to anybody. This is a good one. Iran seizes open source intel. Iran seizes ship carrying Iranian oil. They seized their own ship. This just goes back to show that when they shot down their own plane, it wasn't a mistake. They are just that dumb that they can't figure out what's going on right at the moment. They don't think on the spot. Iran seizes ship carrying Iranian oil. Iran has seized the oil tanker Ocean Koi in the Gulf of Oman, according to state media. The vessel, which has operated as part of Iran's shadow fleet since at least 2020, was detained for allegedly disrupting the country's oil exports. So their own ship and their own oil was disrupting their exports. What it is, the ship didn't come in and pay them their bounty. So they didn't know who it was, I'm guessing. The U.S. Treasury sanctioned the Barbados flag tanker MO 9255933 on February 25th, 2026 for transporting Iranian petroleum. Oh boy. This doesn't get any better, does it? You couldn't have written this any better. OSINT Defender once again is reporting the Ministry of Defense of the United Arab Emirates, the UAE, has announced their air defense have monitored 3 Iranian UAVs and 2 ballistic missiles in the last several hours. And now this was posted 2 hours ago, so according to this, 2 hours ago. The attack has resulted in injuries to at least 3 people. So they're still attacking the UAE. They seen yesterday how I believe it was Saudi wouldn't allow us in our own bases and to use their airspace because we didn't do any retaliatory action on Iran for bombing them. So I guess we had to make a second phone call, and then they finally said, okay, you can use our airspace. But Iran sees this as they're getting back over on us because we weren't able to use our airspace in our base for a while, or use UAE's airspace. So they think that they're making the UAE mad at the U.S. That might happen just a little bit. You've seen who has ships here now, right? That they weren't going to do anything before. They were supposed to have this big coalition of people, the UK, the French, and all. They were going to have this big coalition to come here on a defensive route and help the traffic start flowing again. Well, we started doing it ourselves. They seen that it could be done and that we got the hard work done by opening up a lane already. They decided to bring their ships over now. Oh boy. OSINT Technical, NASA's firms is picking up multiple fires in the Strait of Hormuz after tonight's naval battle between the U.S. and Iran. Now, this was 10 hours ago, but satellites are watching the ships that were bombed and that are on fire. They're seeing the fires float across the Strait of Hormuz or go down the Strait of Hormuz is, I guess, what their satellite pictures are showing them. That's some seriously scary stuff to know that there's a satellite out there that can identify a fire going on in a strait like that. U.S. Central Command, there are currently 70 tankers that U.S. forces are preventing from entering or leaving Iranian ports. These commercial ships have the capacity to transport over 166 million barrels of Iranian oil worth an estimated $13 billion plus. Think about that for a minute. $13 billion plus. That's 70 tankers. That's transporting Iranian oil. That is a staggering number, and it just mystifies my train of thought to think, why in the world would they not set some of that money aside somewhere that can't be touched by anyone? Nobody knows it's there for situations like now when we put a blockade on so they're not able to make any revenue, to bring in any money. We've seized everything. We've blown their banks up. We've sanctioned them. We've done their Bitcoin, whatever it is, we've tied up. They can't use. So if they have an estimated 13 billion plus just sitting there, not able to do anything, which I'm sure they'd love to get cashed in right now because oil prices are high, and yet they can't come to the table to say, hey, let's drop this blockade, we'll open up the Strait of Hormuz and we'll get that done. That way they can at least get some revenue to come in, and maybe, hopefully, I pray that they would take care of the Iranians that live in Iran that are seriously, seriously hurting right now. But then it takes all kinds. I mean, they've been this way for 47 years. Since they took back over, this is how it's been. They've operated this way the entire time. They're radical Shia clerics that run this thing. And I guess the IRGC had a meeting with the new supreme leader, no lips gay Ayatollah. I don't know. They said they talked for 2.5 hours. I don't know how he's talking without lips, but maybe he's writing it on paper. He can't honestly think that they're winning this, can he? I mean, I go to sleep at night, my mind is racing, and I almost feel bad for him. If they honestly think that they're doing the right thing. And they can't justify to themselves that what they're doing isn't even good for themselves. Like, it's not even good for the IRGC or the Supreme Leader. What they're doing is not good for themselves. They are robbing their own bank accounts. They're losing revenue over not letting anybody else use that because they want the money themselves. They want to control the Strait of Hormuz now. They said, and it's been reported, that they will not let the Strait of Hormuz go back to the way it was pre-war. That from now on, they are going to control it, and you are going to have to pay. You're going to have to access a website, and they will send you a code via email in order to get through. And I'm sure it's probably got a toll on there that you got to pay before they're going to let you through. So, I mean, they're not even close to getting to that point yet. So you have the IRGC looking at it like this. Then you have the government side of it, Arachi and Galabaf, and they're sitting there saying, well, we need to figure something out because we don't have any money. And we don't have any money to pay the IRGC workers who are protecting us. So if these people, I mean, they're going to die if they starve. But I still find it hard to believe they didn't tuck any money away in a sock somewhere for situations like this. I mean, could be wrong. I mean, they blew up their own planes and seized their own ship. They couldn't even get money out of their own oil when they seized it. Wow. So that's where we sit right now, folks, as of this morning. That has been your Center Aisle Breakdown. Again, my name is Brian, and I will be back later with some more updates, I am sure. I hope everybody has a blessed day.